Okay. Okay. So yeah, just I wanted to put a real short presentation about myself. Again, this class, my name is Mr. Heinzerling. This is AP Physics 1, algebra based. My last name, it sounds the way it looks. It looks intimidating. It's not that bad. I always tell people it's like Heinz ketchup that you'd see in the grocery store. You just add an Erling on the end. I'm also not going to make you say that every time. Mr. H is by all means okay. So either one. My background, I'm not from Indiana at all. I'm from Iowa. So I was born and raised in Ankeny, Iowa, which is right by Des Moines, which is the smack dab, it's the capital in the middle of the state. So my background, I graduated from University of Iowa with a degree in mechanical engineering. Unfortunately, realized doing the job interview process that an actual engineer and what they do day to day isn't what I wanted for my career. That was kind of a tough transition. I still love physics and math, and so took a gap year and figured out that teaching is a way for me to use kind of my background, my passion for math and physics to be able to do some career that's more fitting, more social, more interactive than unfortunately being kind of an office drone, being at a computer designing stuff. So that was a tough transition. And again, if you're interested in engineering or wanting to know more about kind of my process with figuring all that out, just let me know. I'd love to share what I learned and kind of how that went. It was interesting. A lot of you guys might have siblings. A lot of you might know people that graduated from high school last year during COVID. I also graduated during COVID. I just finished my master's. So I graduated from Iowa a couple months ago. I was student teaching, and when COVID hit, everything got shut down. So my student teaching was just done and over with. They had no online learning set up at all. So school for them was just over. So that was kind of tough to see kids be done. And then only a couple teachers voluntarily made stuff for their students to continue learning. Like the teacher I was with, she taught an AP Physics, like calc-based, and so she was like, there's no way I'm going to just quit teaching them. So she did on her own stuff. So it was an interesting process. I had other classes for my degree that I had to do via Zoom, so that was weird. So I kind of fear you guys' pain. I hate these masks. I hate these things. I really hate that I can't, you can't see facial expressions. You can't tell, when I'm smiling really. I'm going to have to be careful with, sarcasm so you guys don't think I'm being straight-faced when I'm joking, but being sarcastic. We're all going to have to just bear with it. So I apologize, especially to, glasses wearers. I wear glasses half the time, and I can't wear them without it fogging up unless I put it on the tip of my nose and just look at them kind of like an old man. So I feel the pain, and I apologize, but sadly the state says this is what we got to do. And just to keep everybody safe, I want to take precautions. So we'll get through that and just hopefully kind of ignore the masks and do distancing and all that as best we can. I wanted to share a little bit about my family. So obviously that's the person that looks most like me on the far right. That's me. This is my mom and dad. My dad, he works for Principal Financial. He kind of runs retirement plans for other companies through Principal. So he travels to the West Coast a lot for a lot of his clients. My mom, she works for Wells Fargo. She manages a team that they kind of basically test the Wells Fargo website and try to crash it and then report to the IT. So that's kind of her team. This is my sister. This was at her wedding. She got married this past October. So this is now my brother-in-law, Sawyer. My sister, I'm the oldest, and she's my only sibling. She's 2 years younger than me. They both live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, middle and then east part of the state. She works for a company called Collins Aerospace. Has anybody ever heard of that? It used to be called Rockwell Collins. Probably not. Again, I realize I'm 2 states over, but does supply chain management, so she works with the suppliers to bring stuff in for the company to do and produce. They make a lot of like avionics, electronic equipment for airplanes, things like that. And then Sawyer is a graphic designer. He works for a company that they do a lot of like logos, marketing, emails, advertisements, flyers, all that design work for basically universities. That's their clients. So he actually, I found out after they started dating that they actually, one of his clients, he had a small project with Indiana Wesleyan University. So he did some logo work and like marketing and stuff for them. So that's kind of my family. Our family grew. I actually just got married like a month ago, mid-July. Thank you. This is my wife, Landry. This was when I had proposed, actually at Indiana Wesleyan. Do you have a question?
No.
No? Okay. This is my wife. We just moved here, so we got married mid-July, and then immediately our honeymoon was the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, so that was really nice. We just had like an Airbnb cabin, so that didn't get canceled or nothing, so I was thankful. And then we just moved here, would have been that last week of July, so I haven't been around here long at all. I just got into my classroom last week, so pardon the mess, and I've been trying to sort through. It's been crazy, to say the least. We met at another wedding. I was the best man. She was the maid of honor. Classic. They tried to set us up. Nothing happened for a year. And then I actually did IT for a school district in the area where she lived. So I'd see her at church and stuff. And then eventually I asked her out. So it was kind of a crazy story. She's the reason that I'm here. She is actually a student at Indiana Wesleyan. So if you're wondering why I'm not in Iowa and I'm in Gas City, Indiana, it's because she's still a student. She's got one more year. Music therapy is what she's studying. So she's got a semester and then her internship, and then she'll graduate. Question?
Yeah, when she's finished, do you plan on staying, or do you plan on...
We really don't know. We're trying to plan that out. I don't want to move anymore. I've moved during COVID. Last year, I've moved 4 times because I lived in Iowa City, was doing my fall semester. I had to move for my student teaching placement. When that got canceled and COVID hit, that family went on lockdown. So it was either I don't see my fiance for a couple months or I move out. So then I moved out. I actually lived with her and her family. We had like 8 people in the house. So we weren't super COVID qualified or whatever. And then I moved here. So I don't want to move. But the tricky part is my family's, Des Moines, Iowa area. Her family it's southeast Iowa. She does have grandparents and a couple aunts and uncles in Hebron, Indiana, which is like northwest, I'm pretty sure. So we have some family. It's like a tug of war. I don't want to move again. I'd like to stay here, but it's tough with our family. We really don't know. So a lot of this year for us is going to be trying to figure out, okay, we need to make a decision. Where are we going to settle? Has anybody heard of music therapy before? You have? So I didn't know what it was until I met Landry. Another part of that is music therapy is like a covered healthcare expense here. It's an established thing. There's, companies and jobs here. Iowa, it's not. Iowa, it would be, if people had music therapy, it's an out-of-pocket expense. So it's kind of hard to have a job market. So that's another thing that kind of tugs us here for her job and stuff. So to be determined. We really don't know. Unfortunately, it's up in the air. But anyway, she's got one more year, and then her this semester an internship, and so that's kind of what brought me here. I'm glad that our wedding, it was pretty close. We were at the point where we invited like 250 people. COVID happened, and then all of a sudden the state was at half capacity. So we were at the point where we were going to have to uninvite 125 people from a wedding. Say, hey, by the way, you can't come. Psych, but not really. That was tough, and we were on the cusp of making that decision, and the state opened back up, but just under social distancing guidelines and all that. So thankfully, our wedding, we could have everyone that we had invited. A lot of people didn't come because they were really concerned and really paranoid, which I totally understand. So everything was pretty much normal. It's just we didn't wear masks up front and kind of the wedding party, but the ceremony and stuff, a lot of people had masks. And then our reception, we had to like serve food. We couldn't do the buffet like we wanted. We had to assign people seats by their family. They couldn't sit and mingle with anybody else. So it was kind of tricky, but it was more or less normal, so it didn't kind of throw everything under the bus. So that was good. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about my family. So this is me personally. This used to be my car, used to be my motorcycle. So I'm really big into cars and motorcycles. I've been into cars since I was a kid. I started with construction equipment as like a little kid, like a toddler. Then I went to Hot Wheels and cars. Elementary school, I would sit at the bus stop and just name cars as they would drive by. So on any given moment, like I could probably tell you like what car is driving next to me, what's behind me. It's a lot of mental energy I've given to recognizing cars. And then high school, I really got into like automotive news. Really started getting into engineering and physics stuff. So I got into reading about the technology and about engines, turbocharging, now electric drivetrain, hybrid drivetrain, stuff like that. And then in college, the family, actually this was their barn, the boys in the family raced dirt bikes competitively. So when I would go visit them, they taught me how to ride a motorcycle on a little tiny dirt bike. Here you can see they have their big race bikes, and I eventually was able to ride those. Wanted a bike for a long time, saved enough up, and finally, when I started my master's, I bought one. Unfortunately, I just sold this in April because just moving, I had no way to get it here, and she's a student, I'm a teacher. We're not just flush with cash, so that was unfortunate to have to sell that. I really miss it because I love riding. I love bikes. Don't know if I'll get one down the road. I'd like to. The only thing is we want to start a family, and so I don't know if I feel comfortable owning a bike, knowing that I would, down the road have a kid on the way. So we'll see. Maybe I'll make friends that have bikes that I could ride every once in a while and kind of enjoy that a little bit. And yeah, this was my car. This was the car I bought when I was 16 in high school. I just sold it in December, and that was a couple months shy of 10 years that I owned it. So I almost owned it for a decade. So that was really sad to see that go. What's that? Trailblazer. Yep, that was 02 Trailblazer. I think that was the first year they made them. And I bought it from a guy who, it was kind of a family car, but they kept good care of it. And I'm really, like, if you notice, they're all clean. I just sat and detailed and waxed them. So I was really particular. So yeah, I love cars. I love motorcycles. Here's another picture of my bike. Is anybody into motorcycles? You are a little bit. So it's a 2008 Yamaha FZ6. So it was basically like a sport touring version of the Yamaha R6. So it's the previous gen engine, but they detuned it a little, and then it's got it sits upright. You're not leaning over like a 600 cc. Yep. So it was like 600 cc's are like the sweet spot of they're really light and agile, but they got a lot of get up and go. It was really fun. I miss it a lot.
How fast did you ever take it?
Top speed technically on this is 140 mile an hour. Yeah. So
But how fast did you take it?
I'll plead the fifth on that one.
Okay.
I've stretched the limits a little bit. my friends that race dirt bikes, he had like a 1000 cc Honda CBR 1000R, so like a big deal bike, and they topped it out. And I thankfully wasn't around, but topping it out on a bike like that is 186 mile an hour, which is absolutely terrifying. They were a lot more rebellious and risk takers than I was.
You sneeze, you're dead.
Yeah, I know. Or you hit a patch of sand, you're dead. You hit a big rock, you're dead.
Or like if there's grass clippings on the road.
Yeah, that's actually really slippery. Yeah,
that's because I heard technically, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard technically it's illegal to blow your clippings into like public roads for that reason.
Huh.
Like, I don't know, maybe it's just highways, but I heard that.
I almost wish it was, because it really is like scary.
I heard it for that reason. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but I heard that there's something like
I'm not
you're
sure.
not supposed to do that.
Yeah, they've been riding for at least a decade apiece, so they have a little more experience. But I'm not that kind of a risky guy. But anyway, does anybody know what this is?
I don't remember from first period.
I was gonna say you probably know because I had you in class. You know what it is? Exactly. Spot, and you got the model right. I'm impressed. So I'm a really big car guy. I'm not as up to date on the automotive world as I used to. I used to be like waiting for models to come out because I knew they were going to get released. This is one of my favorite cars. Koenigsegg, they're a Swedish supercar manufacturer. I share this one because it's a big passion of mine. I love following the automotive world, new models that are coming out, new statistics, what's the new fastest car, what's the new quickest 0 to 60 time, all that stuff. But I also really like having an engineering background, big passion of physics and math. I love kind of figuring out how they do this stuff. My engineering class, I talked about this car, they developed the engine themselves. They don't like take it from Ford and put it in here and soup it up. They made it themselves. And it has twin turbocharged. They 3D print the turbochargers out of titanium. So they literally design the part, send it to their 3D printer, and it prints it in titanium, and then they take it and put it in their car. And it's just stuff like that is really exciting to me to figure out, like the engineering. How do you know the science and the physics? How do you make this car top speed is, I think, like 240. I don't remember what this specific model, but how do you keep a car like that stable? Is this aesthetic or is this actually functional? The spoiler, all the physics and things going on, I love thinking about that. And that's just a really big passion of mine. Another fun fact, I think this has the carbon fiber rims. They make rims, the entire wheel itself, out of carbon fiber. It's not like a piece of metal they make and put carbon fiber on. They make the whole thing out of carbon fiber, and it weighs like 5 or 10 pounds, which a steel or even aluminum rim would be like 30 pounds. So just really cool, the technology, the science, the physics. I'll probably, I'm also really, really excited for this class. Like physics is like my cup of tea. That's like the thing I nerd out on. So I'm really excited to hopefully get you guys at least a little bit excited about physics if you're not already. I'll probably have a lot of car references or examples. One, driving and vehicles in general is pretty pertinent and relevant to high school students. A lot of you guys have cars or have driven a car, potentially all of you. And so there's a lot of physics going on and a lot of things that we'll learn about that you can directly apply to, when you drive home from school that day, potentially. So I hope to make those connections, but also I'm just really excited, like cars and motorcycles. Another fun fact, Office fans? I got any Office fans? All right. How about Parks and Rec? That's the other one I put on here. Yes? So I put these because these are my two favorite shows. Again, The Office in particular, that's the first show I started watching. Even when I was in high school, my sister and I started watching it. And even throughout all college, I always had a friend that was like really into The Office. So I've seen this show probably like a dozen times, start to finish. So I don't know if I should be proud of that or a little embarrassed that I've spent inordinate amount of time in front of a screen watching this. I also know a lot of like trivia, especially about Office. I've done a couple of trivia nights myself with The Office, and like friends and I will like pick up on a phrase and just link it back to what scene it relates to The Office. So if we ever have free time or something, or like maybe homecoming week, we can like maybe take it easy, and I might have maybe set aside some class time to have some stump Mr. H. See if you can do Office trivia with me, because I really like trivia in general. So that's just a little bit about me. Anybody into anime? I really like anime as well. So One Punch Man is probably my favorite. I think that's a hilarious show. I love it. Dragon Ball Z I really like. I've seen all of Naruto, at least the filler. Missed that stuff, thankfully, because it's like 500 episodes. So I really like anime. My Hero Academia, I've watched a little bit. So yeah, that's something that I'm really interested in too. My wife isn't. She doesn't understand it at all. So maybe over time she'll become a fan, but that's just another personal interest of mine. That's all I had for About Me. Does anybody have questions? Do you want to know anything else about me? Anything you're wondering about me, my background, my high school experience, my college experience, anything like that? Feel free to ask anything. Yeah. Yes and no. So with sports, I'm really weird. I don't follow anything. No NBA, no NFL, NCAA. I don't follow anything. It's not an interest of mine. I love to play sports, though. So when I was in high school, like I played football, basketball as a kid. And then when I got to high school, my freshman year, I did wrestling and golf for the first time in my life, which is an insane combination. One, to do them for the first time, and to do them at the same time. They're so different. Wrestling, I was okay at, but at the same time, not very good. Wrestlers can be real intense, and a lot of those kids have been wrestling since they were like 4 years old. So I kind of got my butt whooped. My record was terrible. I have a lot of respect for wrestlers because wrestling practices were the hardest workout I've ever done. Thankfully, I didn't have to cut weight or diet like crazy like some kids do, and that makes me kind of cringe, especially like high school kids. It's really not super healthy. Golf, I really enjoyed. I shaved like 20 strokes off of my 9-hole average, but that's because I never golfed before, and I just showed up and started golfing. So that was fun. 10th grade, I did nothing. 11th, 12th grade, I did tennis. And I had played tennis as a kid in the summer, so I had done like summer camps, for a week, and we go play, but not competitively. So then junior, senior, I did tennis and loved that. I wasn't varsity, which I'm glad, because I didn't have the pressure. I could just show up and play the sport, and I really enjoyed it. And then golf and tennis also is nice that I've done those, because those are sports that I'll be able to play for years, even when I'm 60 and got arthritis. Hopefully I can have a golf cart still and just drive, hop out, swing a club. So I really enjoyed that. So my sports, they're really weird. I don't follow any. If you say an athlete, I might know them. More than likely, I don't. I don't really I won't watch the games, so unfortunately, I'm not up to date. But I do enjoy playing it, and I know about sports. I just am not up to date or caught up to speed. But yeah. Anything else? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm just kidding. You can ask me questions later. I just want to give you guys time to ask about me or anything you wanted to know. Another, I guess, one that I've been asked in other classes, favorite food? I like all food. Really, the only things I won't eat, like beets, which is ironic because Dwight is a beet farmer. Yeah. It's so funny that I hate beets but love the show. I can't stand beets, and then cooked peas is really something that I'll eat them, but I won't like it. That's just a weird thing. Wasabi also. I can't stand wasabi. Wasabi is equivalent to gasoline in my mind. I've never tasted gasoline, but if I was a betting man, gasoline would taste like wasabi. So pretty much, if I don't eat those three things, I'll eat.
Tastes better than both.
What's that?
The diesel tastes better than both. Which, not intentionally, but I have had diesel.
Like,
not intentionally.
Tasted it? Like, eaten?
Not like a lot, but I have had like splash in my face.
Oh my gosh.
So I have consumed.
Have you had wasabi?
Yes.
How do they compare?
I don't know. They were too far apart.
Dang it.
I mean, I wouldn't say, see, because I don't necessarily want to like take a shot of diesel and then eat some wasabi.
I was gonna say either I'll never know the answer, or I'm gonna have to suck it up and have a lick of gasoline and see if it compares. I shouldn't be saying that as a science teacher. We're gonna be doing labs. This is a chem room. Anyway, yes, you have a question?
Do you like to travel?
Do I like to travel? So okay, I do. I do not like the cost of travel. So another thing about me, I'm a really like frugal. Like I get most of my clothes from the thrift store. I love going to the thrift store. I hate spending money on clothes when I don't care if they're used. Like it does the job. So I'm really thrifty and kind of frugal. So I don't travel a lot, and I won't choose to travel because it just costs money. I do enjoy traveling. I did a summer mission trip to Paris, actually. So I've been to Paris, and that was really fun. That was the first time I left the country. As a kid, we did family vacations, so like California, New York, Florida, Wyoming, Texas, stuff like that. My wife wants to go everywhere. So we're going to have to meet some sort of compromise where we just can't, but we'll probably have to go. So that's a weird answer, but that's my honest answer is I really like to. Yeah, something like that. It is so expensive to travel. Now with COVID, it gets a little trickier. You can't really fly, or flying, gets complicated. Hi there. Thank you very much. Maggie. Is Maggie here? You're Maggie? This is to Mrs. Young.
Okay.
Well, that's now. Right? 11:45?
I'll probably do that.
Okay. Okay. Just hop down there. Again, I got to pass last period, and I sent him at the wrong time, so I'm still learning.
I'll just save my stuff.
Yeah, no worries. You're good. Yeah, so I guess that's my honest answer. Any other questions? Okay, another thing just about questions. While I'm teaching or we're going through stuff, like I want you guys to ask me questions. Please don't let me be talking about something and you don't get it and wait 20, 30 minutes and then say, Mr. H, I didn't get what you started with. Interrupt me, ask me questions. I want to take time so that everyone's on the same page. I love getting questions because they help me a lot, kind of help figure out what you're getting, what you're not. So I encourage questions, especially as like I'm teaching and we're going through stuff. I want you guys to have the liberty to ask a question about stuff anytime we're going through things. So that's just a quick side note. The next thing I want to do, if you want to grab your MacBooks, I'll get you guys jumped onto Google Classroom and we'll get that knocked out of the way. And again, if you don't have your MacBook, just jot this code down, and you'll just hop on as soon as you can when you get your device. If you haven't gotten your device, I think they should be with Mr. Wardinger. Pick that up as soon as you can, especially for this class. We'll use it a lot. Even doing labs, a lot of the software will run through our MacBooks. But otherwise, jot that code down. Anyone having trouble getting in? Okay. So you'll see. Go to the syllabus. I'm gonna run through the syllabus. We'll spend some time there, just knock that out, and then I'll come back for something really quickly. So obviously I've mentioned my name is Mr. Heinzling. Email's right there, and then I've got office hours, tutoring hours, whatever you want to call them. I've Thursdays after school, I'm gonna just stay until 4. I want to take some time to be available to all my students. So this is just something where I want you guys to know anytime you got a question, you'll have a time that you can just come into my room and I'll be here and can help you. Obviously, if you need help with an assignment, feel free to email me, especially before it's due. Like, if you're saying, hey, I'm really struggling with concept, can I meet with you before class? Let me know and we can set that up. But this is kind of every week I want to be available, at least for some time to have you pop in and just have any questions you got. Yes. Yes. Sorry, did I move on too quick? Oh, classic. The color wheel. Yeah. Brody, did I have you in class this morning for ID? So remember my software, the CAD software didn't work?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 minutes before the bell rang, it worked. So I had technology issues. I was about to show them like a demo of the 3D modeling software. Hit the button, it started up, and then it wouldn't do anything. So yeah, hopefully we don't have a lot of tech problems, but such is life. Again, textbook. Here, do you have your MacBook with you?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to hop on quick, I'll get you the code for Google Classroom. That way you won't be... I'm just going through the syllabus. I just started. So this class, the textbook we're using, I'm not going to emphasize the textbook a lot. I will let you know that right now. There may be a couple times that I'm going to tell you, hey, read this section tonight. Most of the time, it's just going to be a textbook. I don't want to be the kind of teacher that says, read the chapter, do the practice problems, and we'll see you at the test. That's not how I want to teach. I don't think that's good teaching. That's not engaging for you guys. So I'm telling you, the textbook, I'm not going to emphasize a ton. It's more, to me, like a resource for you guys. A great way, if you're struggling with a topic, like go read the textbook, and it might present it in a way that clicks with you or helps you practice. There's practice problems. Did you get logged in okay?
Yep.
Sweet. And then along with that, there's a lot of cool things. I'm excited about this book because it's open source and free. So literally you can click that link and download, and you got a PDF of the textbook, just like that. So that way you'll always have it on your computer. You won't even need internet to access. You can also access it via the internet, like in an online platform. You can view it online, and it's got like a table of contents. They're all hyperlinked. You just like, I want to go to chapter 12. Like I'll hop on and just click through it. So that's one thing. You can also, this OpenStax is like the publisher. They have an app, and you can get the book in the app, so it's on your phone all the time. I think there's like note-taking capabilities, and you can highlight. So there's a lot of features that are exciting because it's just there. If you want to use it, great. So again, here everything's hyperlinked. I want to go to kinematics, start of it, and it'll just go right to it. So you can do it online. Again, that link, you can just download the PDF and you got it. I guess right now, if you guys could, go to the Google Classroom, and I posted a poll. If you guys can do that, it's literally one question. I'm just asking if you guys would be interested in a physical textbook. Like some people, they're like, I really need a physical textbook. I just will learn better. Some people, either way. Some people prefer online. Yes?
How much are we going to be using the textbook?
I'm not going to emphasize them a lot. I don't think I'm going to use it a ton in class. Like, I'm not going to teach out of the book. Say like, let's go to chapter 2.1 and start reading. I'm not going to do that. And we won't.
Are you gonna like assign us to read it, or like is it just kind of just an extra source, or what?
Like I said, there may be a couple times that I'll tell you, like, hey, I really want you to read this section tonight, 10 pages. I'm not going to make you read a lot because I think it's good, and I want you to get extra exposure to even, like, rotational motion. It's complicated. That might be a case where I say, like, read the section. Regardless of that, you'll have the PDF that everyone should be accessed no matter what. That will be few and far between. I don't think I'm going to assign problems out of that book. I might, but again, if all else, you'll have the PDF. So to answer your question, in class, hands-on stuff, I won't be like requiring you to use it and like flip through a lot. It'll be few and far between. This is more if everyone or most of you guys are like, I really want a hard copy, I can talk to the principals and see if we can get that arranged. This poll is for me to figure out, like, hey, does everyone just not care?
If we get it online, will we use it more? Possibly.
Use what more? Oh, the book?
It's one of those things that
could be.
We're going to use it more than just like occasionally look at it. I would want like an actual textbook.
Yeah.
We're only going to like look at it like once a month or whatever, just to for more examples of the topic.
I gotcha. Yeah. We might use it more being virtual. I would still, like, if school got shut down, I'm still going to be your teacher. I'm still going to do lessons, and we're going to do stuff. We'll figure out how to do labs and all that jazz. I might rely on it a little more, but still not a lot. I don't know if that answers your question. I still don't know for sure, like, how I'm going to utilize this throughout the whole year. It's just going to be pretty light, and to me, I want this textbook to be much more of a resource to you rather than a requirement to learn physics. I want it to help you, be a supplement, not let the book teach you. I hope to be teaching you, and I hope you learn through the labs and through hands-on, through discussions, things like that, not just reading. Some people can learn that way. Some people rely on the textbook for that, but most students don't. Do you have a question?
I was just going to ask if
Can you go quick? Yeah. Feel free to go quick. So, just really quick, who would really like a hard copy? Just so I have a quick. You would use one? Okay. Okay. And the poll will help give me some data. So that poll tells me, I have something to show the principals, like, hey, half my kids want a hardcover. Can we justify getting a copy for the classroom? Because this book is new. The book they had for the class was outdated, and so they needed a new one, and so I had to pick it. And this was, to me, the best option, especially for how I teach. But I don't want to prevent you guys from having a hard copy if that's going to help you learn. And so that's kind of what I'm doing, is getting a feel for what you guys think.
how could a textbook like that get outdated?
Well, you mean like that? This open source one?
Yeah. Like
Or physics?
Yeah, like the physics. Like I just.
Well.
How does the subject I understand like history? More things happen.
Yeah.
They have to change the how much they spend on each period and stuff. But
Yep. So that is a semi-political question, and I say politics in the sense of like the world of academics. You guys, especially if you guys are going to college, you'll learn the tyranny of textbook publishers. Colleges will release a new version of the textbook. Sure, I agree with you. Physics, F equals ma, that ain't really going to change. They don't need to update that. But they do. And then when you take that class in physics, the class uses the 14th edition. They're going to teach you and do problems from the book. So it's either you got to borrow a friend's or you pay the $200 to buy the new textbook because you have to for the class.
So it's like the monopoly.
Yeah. That's an unfortunate reality, especially in colleges. They just they'll adopt the newest textbook and use the newest version. Well, the newest version, they change all the numbers, they change the problems. Content probably doesn't change, at least not significantly. So that's the actual answer to your question.
I was just wondering how that would work for like a science class.
Yeah.
Just simply.
You're right. The content really hasn't changed. There's not massive revelations in the world of physics that, an AP Physics 1 class needs to adjust their content.
Because even like I would understand with the modern science, because they could like learn and do
Oh, yeah.
like a new thing that's constantly changing, constantly learning.
Yes.
Kind of.
That's just like there was a set of textbooks in my room, a technology class. Yeah, from the mid '80s.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's out of date. There's no utility for that anymore. It's obsolete. But it's just a weird dynamic. That's also why I like this, because it's open source and available, ready for all you guys, and a lot of platforms. And then it's just the hard copies. We'd have to. They're a lot cheaper. It's just we'd have to purchase what it costs to like print them. But I would have to justify to the principals, like, hey, I want 15 new textbooks. I got to justify why. And so I'm also wanting to know what you guys prefer, how you guys would learn. So that's kind of a little bit of background about that. Let's see. There's also some student resources that can be helpful. There's solutions, so you can like do practice problems yourself, and they got the solutions. And then there's they have a YouTube channel that has a lot of videos about certain topics or explanations, problem solving. There's a lot of things that could be good resources that if you want extra help or you want to make sure you understand, there's a lot of stuff that site has just got ready for you to use, note-taking, and then a time management guide. So I'm excited to have that available for you guys. Again, it's just a resource, and we'll use it a little bit, but I do want most of your learning to happen in discussion and dialogue. I want it to happen, in problem solving, me teaching concepts and having you guys work on stuff, and also a lot of labs. I think there's tremendous value in learning through labs and like hands-on doing. So the other thing, I'm trying to figure out if I want to tackle this right now. How many of you guys have an AP account? Because you've like taken an AP test before, taken an AP class before? Not yet. So maybe I'll wait until, for you guys, it'd be Monday, before I get you guys logged in. AP has their own like classroom management system that you can log in. Again, that's more of a resource to you guys. So in that, they have all the units. I'm going to be teaching very aligned with how AP structures this class and all the main topics. There's 10 main units. So in my AP, you'll see the 10 main units and the topics. There's a lot of practice problems. So like, how many of you guys are planning on taking the AP test for this? At least as of now. It can change a lot, but the majority of you probably will take it. So in that case, May 5th is this AP test. That's when it'll happen. So that's our deadline. We got to get through all the material before then so that all of you guys have seen everything and are prepared. So we're going to move pretty quickly. But my AP, for a lot of you guys, that'll be great for practicing for the test. You can go in and say, like, I want some practice problems for Unit 1, motion. You can go in and they got a bunch of them. Multiple choice, I got the free response. So that will be a big resource that will be for you guys to use as you see fit. And so I think I'll wait till Monday for us to kind of get you guys logged in. For those of you that don't have an AP account yet, it would be really helpful if this weekend you just made your account. You got to fill in like your info, your address, what class you're taking, what school you're at, all that jazz. But that way you'll have that account not only for this class to get logged into this, but also for if and when you take the AP test, you'll need an account to be able to take it and register. So if you please could have an AP account by Monday. and I'll walk you through this, and we'll get that set up and have that resource ready for you guys. Grading. Again, this is heavily weighted on tests and stuff. We'll do a unit test, so there'll be 10 tests for all the different units. Real quick, do you have an AP account? Like, have you taken an AP test before? Okay, so I was just telling them that the textbook is online. When you get logged into Google Classroom, there's a quick poll about if you would like a hard copy of the book. Oh, you did? Okay.
I took it on my phone.
Okay. And then the other thing is this AP account, there's a lot of resources like practice problems, practice AP tests. That's a great resource. So Monday, I'll get you guys set up. But if you don't have an AP account, just go on sometime this weekend and make one. It'll just ask like your info, your grade, school, address, blah, blah, blah. But if you're planning on taking the AP test, you'll need that account in order to register. So if everyone has one by Monday, we'll be able to knock that out together and have that done and have you guys access to that resource. So grading, heavy weight towards tests, labs and projects. A quarter of the grade, and then homework's a small part. I might change that a little bit, but it won't change a lot. Again, tests are the predominant form of assessment for this class. I do want to do a lot of labs. I really enjoy labs and the hands-on aspect and the learning that happens through those. I have a lot of cool ones that I've done, a lot of cool ones that my student teacher did that were really beneficial. Those will be a lot of group work. That's a big part of science in general, and so I'm going to emphasize that group aspect. Like lab reports or lab write-ups, I'll most likely have those be in groups, at least for a lot of them, so you guys can all work together to accomplish that goal. And then the tests, they'll just pretty much be for every unit. The unfortunate thing is a lot of those tests, or at least a lot of it, might be like leaning towards how the AP test is set up, so that I can give you guys exposure to like how are they going to be asking these questions, what's it supposed to be looking like, what does a free response AP question look like. So I'll try and work those in on top of just standard, kind of test questions. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of choice because it is an AP test or class, and you guys will be taking the AP test, which is out of my control. So I need to do everything I can to help you guys prep for that. While also, the big part is focusing on your learning and understanding rather than just only like those test-taking skills and stuff. AP classes and you guys as students, I hope this doesn't become an issue because late work, it's to your benefit to do it on time. If you have to do stuff late, now you got to do what's due for the next day as well as what you missed. So hopefully this isn't an issue, but any late work I will accept for half credit. So if I assign something anytime in the first quarter of the year, you have until the end of that grading period to turn it into me, and you'll get half the credit of whatever score you got. Again, I really encourage you guys, to get stuff in on time, even if you don't feel super confident about it. It's better to get as many points as you can. It's a small part of your grade, but still, not only is it helpful for your grade, it's also helpful to just stay on track with your work and the topics. Again, I put the specific grading quarters on there so that, okay, that's still not good. That'd be bad. Just so you know when like the deadline to get a late assignment is. Retakes, I'll let you guys retake each of the tests one time, but I need you guys to initiate that within a week. It's specifically a week of when you get your scores back. So like if I post them to Google Classroom and you're like, oh crap, I got a 60%. I know I can do better. I had a rough day or I just wasn't ready. I had a lot going on. You can, by all means, retake that test. It's just when you get your score, you got a week to let me know, hey, Mr. H, I had a bad day, or I know I can do better. I want to retake this test. You let me know. You come to me and tell me, and then we'll figure something out and get it set up. And then I'm going to give you your better score. Hopefully, your better score wasn't the first score you got, meaning your retake was worse than your original. But the goal would be then you do a retake, get a better score, and I'm going to give you that better score. I really hope this is an issue in this class in particular. The test is going to be the same content, but it'll be completely different. So don't think that you can just show up and fluke a test and then just retake it and get the answers from a classmate. It's going to be different. It'll be different questions, different numbers. The content will be the same. I hope that's not an issue, and I hope it's not insulting that I even suggested that, but I just want to be really clear that I'm not going to be tolerant of cheating or anything like that. Yeah. Yes. That's retakes. The other, I don't want to spend too much time, but general expectations. Just need you guys to come ready and prepared for class. Bring your MacBook every day. However you take notes, notebook, binder, Google Docs, have that with you. Try and have this charged so it doesn't crash on you. Obviously, give your best effort. That's all I can ask of you. Show up and participate to the best you can. I get you guys are going to have days when you're tired, even though it's relatively late in the day, but a lot of you guys might have had pretty different sleep schedules in the summer than you do now. I get that, but I need you guys to participate and do the best you can, because sure, it's 90 minutes, but every other day, and we got a lot of material to cover. I'm big on respecting the classroom and respecting others. I not only just in general respecting other people and working well with them, but also respecting the classroom, the computers, the equipment, lab equipment when we get it out. I just don't want to mess with issues with that. I don't want to have to send kids to the office if they're screwing around with equipment or picking on each other. I'm just not going to have a lot of patience with that. So hopefully we won't have any problems. Cell phones, I really don't want to see them. Ideally, you have it away in your backpack. There might be a couple days when we will use them, and I'll tell you, hey guys, go ahead and get out your phones. A lot of labs, your phones are really powerful tools. Even most of the iPhones and Androids, they can do slow-mo videos. That can be invaluable to a lot of labs that we do. But I'll tell you, hey guys, feel free to use your phones for this lab, or get out your phones and we're going to walk through this. But otherwise, it's a school-wide policy, and I don't want to have to be telling you guys to put it away and hope that's not an issue. No food or drink. Hopefully that giant jug is water, right, Brody? Okay, that's massive. But water bottle.
I wish it was a lemon shaker.
Water bottle is the only thing that you can have to drink. Otherwise, no food. Don't bring your Starbucks in. Unfortunately, I'm going to make you throw it away if you come into class with it. No food. That's, again, school-wide. If you're gone, I need you to tell me, hey, Mr. H, I was gone. What did I miss? What do I need to make up? What do I got to do? What are the notes? Stuff like that. I need you guys to take that responsibility to let me know, and then I'll get you caught up and get you going on what you need to do to get caught back up. And then cheating, again, I mentioned, I don't want to deal with it. I need you guys to be adults and do your own work and do it honestly, and just demonstrate your learning, not how well you can copy someone else's work. Again, there's a lot of collaboration in this class, a lot of group lab work and group lab reports. Obviously, that's set up where you are working together. And in that case, cheating to me would be you're not pulling your weight and you're letting your group mates do your own work or do your work for them and you're not contributing. So hopefully that won't be an issue. So anyway, talking about the class itself, these are the big ideas, the huge overarching core concepts for this physics class that the AP board is kind of this class is kind of taught around. A lot of these are interconnected. A lot of the units kind of touch on a couple of these big ideas. Some of the units are focused on strictly, one idea, but this is kind of a super high level, really basic, big ideas about science and, in this case, physics. So I wanted to put those in just so that you guys are aware of kind of how the class is structured and how it's kind of drawn out from a big high level view. I also copied and pasted this science practices sheet. I'm not going to go through that. I just wanted you guys to have access to see what are some of the, not just content, but like scientific skills that we're going to be doing and how those show up. It's just a resource that I want you guys to have access to. Even to see that it's more than just the content and the knowledge. It's things that scientists do and how they think. That's also a part of this class, so I just threw that in there. And then the rest of this is, again, you'll see at the very bottom, I just put the AP test for this is May 5th. So just so you guys know, not only will that be your deadline if you're taking the AP test to prepare, it's also our deadline because a lot of you are going to take it, or at least plan to. That means we got to get through all 10 units before then. So we'll be moving pretty quick, but we'll get through it. Hopefully it'll be really engaging and start to click with you guys, but I'll get you prepared for that. And then I won't go through this, but this breaks down all 10 units on, the 10 units. There's kinematics, then dynamics, circular motion, gravitation, energy and momentum will be 2 units, and then we'll do like harmonic motion, so like a pendulum, swinging motion, periodic motion, torque and rotational motion, so that's like instead of linear velocity, we'll look at angular velocity, how fast things are spinning. Torque is the force that causes rotational motion. We'll do angular momentum and conservation of angular momentum. And then the last part of class, we'll start to get into physics 2 is where you really get into the electricity, the magnetism, circuitry stuff. This is like the general intro, so we'll do just basic electric charge and forces, simple circuit stuff, circuit analysis, and then the last is waves, mechanical waves, sound, electromagnetic spectrum, stuff like that. So that's just a general overview of the class itself, the material, the topics we'll be going through. I don't know what else to say about the syllabus. Do you guys have any questions about the material, about the units we got? Class structure, class pacing, anything like that? Any concerns about the class, anything you're worried about? Hopefully y'all are here and at least somewhat interested in physics at all. Yeah?
As far as materials go, what do you think you would need, like a composition notebook or just loose leaf paper notebook?
I don't have any like set requirements really. A lot of it is up to you, like how you take notes. If it's in,
I guess
like,
that's what I'm asking. Like, what are we going to do? Like, are we going to be doing because we're doing note taking, or are we just be doing like write down random things that won't connect to each other as like problems?
we'll go in order. It'll be structured. It's just a lot of it might, we'll do a lab on a topic, and then we'll do, some concepts, some notes. We'll do practice problems. So a lot of that will vary. In my mind, I'm still a little old school where I really like pen and paper. So for me, I would have a notebook. Like this is my physics notebook. I don't know how I want to like set up labs, like lab notebooks. I might have you guys have like a separate lab notebook. So that would probably be like a composition. I haven't decided that yet.
But for like our notes, would you recommend a spiral bound, like where we have to be pulling stuff out of it, or composition also work?
Composition would also work. There might be times where I'll have you turn some stuff in, but I'll let you know, and you might have separate paper for that. Otherwise, it's real personal preference. Like some people do the filler paper with the 3 holes, and then they put it in a 3-ring binder. That way they can mix and match, switch it around. Other people really like the spiral bound, and they want that, page after page all in one. I'm going to leave that up to your personal preference, how you take notes. Some people, they're all Google Docs or Microsoft OneNote. That I'm going to leave up to you how you prefer to take notes, things like that. Any handouts I'll give you, but a lot of those would be like lab descriptions and lab goals, equation sheets, kind of topic summaries if we finish a topic that, is kind of a condensed cheat sheet on the unit, but I'll hand that to you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
It'll really depend on kind of what you want your notes to be. Again, a lot of assignments will be submitted via Google Classroom. I'll also have a fair bit of in-person stuff, like lab notebooks. I'm going to have those be a physical copy. I'm pretty sure I'll end up deciding a composition notebook is what I'll have you guys get, and that's your lab notebook. But I haven't settled on that, so I don't want to make you go get some right away. Again, the unfortunate thing is we have to consider at least the possibility that we get shut down and we go virtual. That'll be a whole new ballgame. Like I said, a lot of stuff will still go through Google Classroom. I'll still be your teacher. I'm not going to dump you to Acellus or whatever. I don't even know if they have AP Physics on Acellus, but they do. Yeah. Thank you. We might have Andre. Where's Andre? Right there. This one is young. We might get you plugged in with Acellus, but it would more be a resource. Like, hey, we'll do some extra practice. Otherwise, I'll still. I haven't thought this through. I don't know. And maybe I'll ask your guys' opinion. How feasible would it be if, say, we get shut down and go virtual, that this class has a set meet time where we all meet via Google Meet and have class? How likely or possible would that be? Not too good, he said? Why is that? I'm just curious. I'm trying to
We did it for
pre-plan.
We did it for
Early in the
and
morning,
it worked
probably
really well.
Yeah. In my mind, it would be really helpful to have a class time reserved for us.
I would
How
do that.
often?
That I don't know either. Because it could be once a day. We could do a block and say every other day we meet for an extended period of time. I'm not sure.
In my case, I'd probably just pick up work and just.
Yeah. And I understand that. It's just really hard to. I'm not going to expect us to get shut down, but I also can't ignore the reality that it might happen. So I'm trying in my head plan here, but also kind of pre-plan for if we go virtual. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. In my mind, it'd be really nice if we could have a time to meet together and do content. Or maybe we flip the class and say, do online. We might, I don't know how good Acellus would be, but somehow get the curriculum and concepts from somewhere, and then when we meet, we're doing practice problems, or we're doing a lab together, or maybe I do a lab and you guys can do the analysis and data on it. I don't know that. It also might be I make videos that, like you were talking about, that would be the most flexible option, or I do content videos and send those out as class time, and then assign you guys, practice problems, do your own lab, stuff like that.
Something that we did
I
that
don't know.
I thought was helpful was that
Yeah.
we would do a Zoom meeting, and you can still ask questions.
Yeah.
Someone couldn't make it, no big deal, but it was being recorded, so students could still ask questions.
Okay.
And that whole thing is being recorded and posted on Google Classroom. So
Yeah.
when that missed it or wanted to go back to it later, they could still go back and observe it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I would do both. You know, if we had an in-person meeting, I'd still record it. That way, like, say you might have work or something, or someone's, traveling for something, they could still access it, just knowing that they would have to be responsible to keep on pace. So we'll see how that goes. I was just trying to get a feel for how things could go if that happened to come about. Yeah, it'll be an interesting year. But like I said, I'm gonna, in my head, I'm planning on us being able to meet like normal. It's a little different than normal, but that's what I'm gonna plan for. If they tell us to shut down, we're gonna go from there, and I'll get you guys on track with kind of how I decide to carry on that way. So we'll just be patient and see kind of how that plays out. Yeah, any other questions about the class, syllabus, anything at all? All right, that's really all I got for you. I don't want to try and tackle anything else. I think I originally was going to try and do the AP classroom account, but I want to wait until everyone's got their AP account, and so Monday we'll get that taken care of. That way you guys have access to that and get that set up. So that's really all I got. So I'll let you guys just kind of hang out the rest of class. I'll give you an easy first